they confuse me.
I have a
tried
major
to hide
prescription.
that as
I
when
went
back
out
to
here,
the
my
switching
glasses were
classes.
$800.
Why?
Because I have a prism and I have no glare and a
You should
scatter
be
vision.
surprised, I have all this too, it's
I
amazing.
looked at that 39 glare and I looked at myself on the computer and I said, no shit way, I need you in person. I tried it. So I went to Pueblo and it was $320 for everything. So, you know, it was sad. I really wanted those glasses up here because they were really nice. So I got a very similar pair, not as expensive. It's scary. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And I'm gonna go pick them up today. Just thought I tried the computer thing and I tried putting them on there and I looked at myself on the computer and I thought, oh, hell no. I hate myself in pictures.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'd like to call to order the regular session of the City of Trinidad's Tourism Board, Wednesday, October the 26th at 9:02. Maureen, you want to take it?
Campbell,
Here.
Kress,
Here.
Michaels,
Here.
Miller,
Here,
Richardson. Here.
Petitions or communications, oral or written.
There are none.
Approval of minutes for September the 28th, 2022. Everybody have a chance to look at it?
I move to approve the minutes.
I
Second.
Okay.
Great. You want to take roll on that, Marty, or you don't have to?
No, don't have.
Approval of invoices, we'll just take care of all of them.
I make a
Everybody have
motion to
chance
pay
to
our
look at it?
bills.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a question about it, but I agree and I do all that. Have you noticed a shift in a smaller amount of people inquiring about Trinidad, or a shift in the higher, or the time of year, or any sort of trend with those?
With the advertising?
With the I'm sorry, I looked at the fulfillment postage.
Oh, it'll go down.
Yeah.
It does go down.
I
I
just
mean,
wondered,
off
yeah.
season,
Right.
I'm lucky to have maybe 12, 13 from the CTO.
And,
And I think I actually wrote on there, Go Colorado has dropped to an average of 25 a week. National Parks Journal, it dropped to 28 a week. And the OSVG, the Official State Visitor Guide, has dropped to 12 per week on average.
yeah.
And they're usually in the 60s,
Yeah.
80s. In fact, Go Colorado usually, I think the top number I had for requests for information was 123 this summer.
Yeah.
So it was high this
Yeah,
summer,
yeah.
but I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
this
what
is,
I said.
this is typical.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
You know, not to interrupt you, it's just what I did, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But it's just that, you know, many of you, if not all of us, are on Trinidad Chatter. Right? And it amazes me, the amount of people that said, I'm moving to town, I moved to town. Which vet should I use? It's amazing, because how many people that move to town even know that that site exists? So that means that there's a lot of people moving to town. That's right.
There are, and a lot of people who come in for real estate information, which is something we can't carry.
Uh-huh.
I carry it behind the counter for a couple of realtors that have brought it in.
Uh-huh.
But yes, a lot of inquiries on real estate, and a lot of people that are coming in that are new that want information about the town, so.
How
Yeah,
come-
we have lots of new residents.
How come you're not able to carry it?
It's a tourism
Tourism.
office mandate.
We're
We
the-
cannot carry other information for other states,
Uh-huh.
or realty, or marijuana, any magazines or publications that have marijuana advertisements in it.
Were the inquiries normal for the summer or higher, or
A little bit higher.
Oh, I think
It's all that-
they're higher in my shop.
it's all that radio advertising we did over the summer in Amarillo, to Albuquerque, and Santa Fe.
Old
Good
business?
job. Good job.
Well, I'm gonna claim it, I don't know that it's it, it's hard to measure.
Old business, fall grant applications.
Don brought it to my attention that I have Comedy Festival, and it should be Calexico. My I don't know, it typed comedy instead of Calexico. And their request is for $5,000. These were reviewed last at the work session, and the consensus at the time was to approve it for $5,000.
I make a motion, we approve it.
I don't approve it, sorry. 2 days before, coming 2 days before us, when we couldn't even advertise in the magazine, that is setting precedence that we should not do that. He had plenty of time all year to come before us. And it was insulting when he sat there and said, I don't have the time. I didn't have the time to do it. I did 3 grants, one for the senior program, one for the SNAP program, and for our tourism board. And I didn't have a time this year too with running a business myself, but I got it done because I knew the timeline. And I think that's insulting to come to us 2 days before anything. That's setting the precedent that we shouldn't handle. We needed to advertise. He thanked everybody on Facebook, and we weren't not thanked at all.
Well, he did, but he called it Visit Trinidad instead of the tourism board.
Well,
There was a thank you for Visit Trinidad.
I just don't think we were able to put an ad in that thing. I'm
I
sorry.
think there was an ad in the back of that with our logo on it. I saw it on there.
That was a postcard and nothing
No,
else.
but inside the.
He has
inside-
one, he has the
yeah.
same here as one for, he put the same ad that he had for Raton as he did for us.
You guys vote the way you want.
But we gave him 2,500 for the Comedy Fest.
No,
It was like
don't know.
8,000, I
I
thought.
think it was more than
I
that.
think it was less, I don't think it was 8,000.
I don't remember.
But
And I think he should have came he knew this months in advance of this.
Well, there is a deadline, and he did make the deadline.
Well,
Just-
I agree with you, but I think we should verbally say, don't wait so long again, or you won't get approved.
This is his 3rd year coming to us. It's not like it's a new,
Yeah.
something new.
Well, Calexico is only 2 years old.
Well,
This is
it's
the
still
second
2
year.
years old. The common, sorry, you guys can vote your way you want, but that's how I'm voting because I don't think it's good.
In all due respect, it takes a long time for our money to get to these individuals, and almost all of them are paying ahead of time, and then they're getting reimbursed by the money that we're giving them, versus using this for expenses proactively. So, part of that is also our processes and why, that becomes less of an issue.
do you have another number you'd like to give him?
Motion's
We have a
on,
motion?
motion's on the floor.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And I say aye too. I think that Camilla's note should just be noted. I think you almost started to say that, Chris, and just let Wally know, but
Yeah, just give him a verbal warning.
So I can also put it in his letter of approval and write it in recommendation from the tourism board is that you apply earlier, and so that the proper advertising requirements are met.
And my biggest no is because the way he answered, I didn't have time. And that was insulting to us. He works for the city of Trinidad. This is not a nonprofit organization. He's doing it for his own profit, and that was very insulting to me.
Yeah, just put in there, get
So
your
can I
stuff
finish
together.
this vote, please?
Go ahead.
So we have 3 in favor, any opposed?
I
Aye.
Motion carries to approve.
Tom, your reason for no is the same as hers, or?
Well, no, I just think, it's, you weren't on the board in the past and neither was Don. And he's pulled a couple of other things that I didn't care for, but, and I just felt, did he ever ask you if we wanted an ad in this? Did he ever
I
come to
was
you?
not aware of any, if that even.
Yeah, see, there's some really nice ads in here, and I would have liked to have spent my money on a nice ad for the tourism board in this. That's one of the reasons. And same thing with with the Comedy Fest. You know, I would like to buy an ad in the Comedy Fest since they both go sold out so far. And I would like that opportunity also, you know, and those are my two reasons is that. And the fact that he met the deadline, yes, but all of those to take in consideration, if he spends his time and then goes and asks everybody to put an ad in that paper, I feel we should have had that opportunity also. And maybe he feels that we're being represented by the thank you that he gave us in this paper, you know. But since this is going out all over, I would like something for the tourism board in there. Those are my reasons.
I think that should be added to the letter to
I
just
made note.
let him know.
Okay, the next one is Skateland. This was reviewed at the work session. The consensus again was to approve for $3,000. The request is for $4,500. You based your consensus on the approximate portion of the budget dedicated beyond the 50-mile radius, which was $3,000.
Can I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve that at 3,000.
Any discussion?
Second.
Do we have a second?
Don,
I said, Don seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
So food kiosk finalization.
Okay, in your packet, Tom, I have the general services agreement that you will need to sign if you decide to go forward. You did vote on this already, but the contract has not been executed yet. And the reason nothing has moved forward is because we had to make sure that we had the budget set for next year to include this. So financials have been going forth with this with Cheryl to make sure that we had this included in our budget. So I had to hold on to this and not execute the contract even though the board did approve. In the meantime, I wanted you to look at it one more time just to make sure this is what you want. And so I sent it to you email so you could review it. And if you guys are all okay, it doesn't require a vote, but it does require Tom's signature on the line. So if you want to get that done, then we can move forward.
Marty, you said were going to talk to 2 other people in IT and to Les. Did you get anything back from them?
I did. Les said he didn't, he hadn't reviewed it yet.
Mm-hmm.
James did with IT and he said he didn't see any problems.
Okay.
That everything was good there. And there's nothing glaring in the contract at all. No flags were raised. It all looked good. Some concerns were that the city is actually responsible for maintenance, not SUFA. So we are responsible for maintaining it. I also had to clarify a couple of things. It said that advertising on the screen was 80% advertisers and 20% city or tourism. But that's only for, I think it's 8 minutes out of every hour when there's advertising on it. And the rest of the time it's our, yeah, it could be whatever widgets we want on there. It could be events, it could be, the city map is always on the back, so that's a good thing.
Marty, go ahead.
So after we get this, who maintains the screens? And is there advertising capabilities for?
Yes.
The screens, yes. Yes.
Who maintains the screen? Like, is there somebody from the city?
It's called SUFA Talk.
Oh,
and
so they maintain it for us.
We-
Well,
we-
they will until we get our social media contractor. The city is hiring right now.
And I
So
saw that online. Does the city have anybody in mind for that?
I'm not aware.
Marty, the only thing is, maybe you can ask them, if we add 1 or more on as we see them doing really good is
One or more on what?
of these kiosks,
Oh, okay.
is there still a better price for them, for us, or do we like start over if we buy 2 more or 1 more?
We start over.
We start over?
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. All right, can I have a motion?
Well, that's not, you already motioned to
Yeah,
pass it.
okay.
I just need your signature.
All right,
Sign
We're
it.
all good, just sign it.
Is the finalization.
I'm gonna wait to sign it.
Well, I just thought if you
Yeah,
were,
I'll-
since you were
I'll let
here,
you-
you could hand it back to me.
I'll let
after.
you have it before I go.
Okay, all right.
All right. RFP marketing and what? Advertising update?
Okay, so since I sent this to you, I think I sent it Monday, VistaWorks has responded. I talked to Brian yesterday,
Oh, they
and
did.
he is submitting an application. I haven't received it yet, but they will be responding. VistaWorks works closely with the Colorado Tourism Office, the Canyons and Plains Task Force Group, and other areas within the state, mostly destinations. So they have a real good history with marketing and advertising within the state.
They had a booth at the.
Yes, they
at the
did.
fair.
Yeah.
Thing. Did you see it?
I saw that in, I think I did stop and talk to him for a second.
Yeah, I brought 2 brochures for them if anybody wants to see them.
Cone marketing. Chris Cone was online at city council meeting when I presented to council. And he said at that point that he was interested. They actually are residents of Trinidad. They live up on 2nd or 3rd Street, I'm not sure where. And he's been following and making, waiting to see when this RFP was going out. And all this time he's expressed a strong interest. However, I did get a letter from him saying, I wanted to let you know that Cone is going to have to pass on responding to the RFP given the $60,000 budget for agency fee, which really bums me out because I'm very excited to help bring tourism dollars to Trinidad. As a local, I understand how much tourism means to the city, and I also know what Trinidad has to offer. Unfortunately, with the $60,000 budget, we just can't see how to create the amount of work being asked for, as well as what we have experienced in the past to realistically move the needle. This comes from working with other cities and municipalities such as Aurora, Lafayette, and Blackhawk, just to name a few. I'd be happy to chat, but wanted to let you know that a budget of at least $100,000 is more in line with his campaign. So that was the response I got from Cone. Amy Cassidy, which was recommended by our destination development manager at the CTO level, Andrew Grossman, she works for CTO. He recommended her, but she has just been recontracted with the Colorado Tourism Office to do mentoring work for some other grants that she's been doing, so she regrettably cannot apply. Coyote Clan was one that Don recommended. They also questioned the $60,000. They had some other questions that I answered, but I haven't heard back from them. Unified Partnerships, iHeartMedia. I did not send this to them. I don't know how they found it, but I mean, iHeartMedia is big. They also questioned the $60,000. They have not submitted an application. 7 Outsource was another applicant or another interest. They have not submitted an application. I have not had any response from any of the local advertising and marketing agencies.
What is the cutoff?
No, go ahead.
What is the cutoff date?
November the 7th, so we still have time.
The one thing about it is if we could see that most of them are looking at at the budget being more than 60, maybe, we should reconsider what we're gonna do in that sense. Because we do need the help, and if we're gonna have to pay for it, we have the money, and I do think that's what we need to look at now, is to raise.
So now would be a time to make a motion to,
Yeah.
I would like to make that motion to raise the budget. I think it's
Yeah.
appropriate to get the quality of work that we need.
Yes, I agree. You?
Yep.
Make a
What amount are you suggesting?
I say we go to 100,000. And
so
we would
Dawn,
have
will
to.
you include that in your motion?
I make a motion that we raise the RFP rate to 100,000.
So I will have to find out if that RFP has to be resubmitted.
Resubmitted.
So that'll extend that
That's okay.
deadline.
Because I do feel that
Right.
we're gonna get somebody that's gonna give us some good stuff.
Okay.
And then, does that come out of our
Let's finish
reserves?
this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Does that come out of our reserves?
Yes, it comes out of the
it-
reserves. It's gonna have to.
Yeah, it hasn't, the reserve, the adjustment to the budget has not been,
Right.
the budget adjustment has not been made by Cheryl yet.
Yeah. So if you could check with her and see if we could make that for the 40 more.
Okay, so did I hear a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay.
Funding request. Trinidad Office of Outdoor Recreation, Jared. He just
Was
stepped
here, he
out.
just stepped outside.
He's on the phone out there.
I'm going to.
We could move on to new business and come back to him if you want to.
Give me a second.
Have you been in communication with your group that you recommended?
Actually, that was a group that I got from the Colorado Tourism Office. He gave me a list and I sent those to him.
And what did you do?
Did it say maybe they, with the higher than?
No, I don't know. I just gave her the list that he gave me.
Okay.
Jared, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all?
I'm good.
We just denied you because you weren't here.
The whole time I've been sitting here, you guys are chatting and stuff. The 2 seconds I take a phone call and I see Howard.
Hey, that's a great crowd.
Okay, it's our fault.
Go ahead.
I just have the letter of the email in front of you with the specified request for the projected fund allocations.
So a little bit on that, and not to compare Raton to Trinidad or anything like that, but when I was in Raton, it was actually the Lodgers Tax Board over there who, because I'd gone before the board so many times asking for funds for city events to promote there, they just thought, rather than, you are a city department, rather than having to come before the board all the time, we'll just give you a line item within the tour, or the Lodgers Tax budget to do the city events that you sponsor and put on. And at the end of the year, I would give an accounting of, what the money was spent for, how the events went and such like that. So I was approached the board with the same consideration that if the tourism board would be willing, it would save time on you all's part and time on my part to, instead of having to fill out the grants and go through all that process, just to have a line item within the budget for the promotion of the city events that the tourism or the Office of Outdoor Recreation sponsors and puts on. And then at the end of the year, there'd be an accounting to you as far as where the funds were spent, how the events went. All those funds, just like any other city department, are overseen by you all, by Cheryl, and such like that. So it was just something for you as the board to consider, just to kind of streamline the process and make things maybe a little bit easier for everybody. But
I think you bring up, oh, sorry.
No, we'll start with
I think
you.
you bring up a really good point, but I personally don't feel like you've worked with the city long enough to get that credit yet, in the sense of there's places like Art Cartopia that come before the board. They're established, they're good, they're more than 5 years old. Maybe in our future events like Art Cartopia or the Blues or something that's been established for 5 years or more gets a line item. And if you do some sort of, start doing your things and it's considered it's going to be continuous, then I could see a line item for that. I think that your events are just a year or two old, and I don't think that's enough personally for a line item, so that we build that relationship like we have with the Art Cartopia people, or you know what I mean?
I think at our last meeting, we had talked about it, a budget for you probably should be under the Parks and Rec budget, right? I mean, isn't that where that comes? I mean, and then maybe separate from us is some advertising, but I think
That's what
can
he
we have that
uses our
conversation?
money for, is for advertising. That's what he's asking for us to give him his advertising up front. That way it's in.
basically, it's just kind of a housekeeping procedural issue, because Park and Rec wouldn't necessarily put money in there, because the money that I would use would be money that would be justified coming out of tourism.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they put money in the Park and Rec budget for stuff that has to do with park and rec, but when it comes to like putting on an event, they would say, come to you guys.
Yeah,
That's what-
and I think that because I know from your point of view, you may be looking at it and it's difficult because it's your point of view, but what if you left and somebody else replaced you? That wouldn't be a line item that we would just consistently feed without knowing what it's about. So I think those building of those relationships are really important to support.
No,
someone.
I
That's
totally
a
agree.
conversation that I had with him and Marty, was that same thing that you had brought up, is him leaving, and we've already, it's a line item for us, and we're gonna give it, and we don't know who we're giving it to now. You know, that, and, you know, there would be some considerations in that pot, you know. There would be something in that contract where it would come back to the tourism board, is
Sure,
is the way I
absolutely, and
expressed it.
that's why it's not coming to me. I think it would be coming to the city department. So regardless whether I'm here or not, those events would hopefully continue to process, and the promotion of the city through the Office of Outdoor Recreation would continue, regardless if it's me or someone from Cocoa who shows up from somewhere. And there would still be an accounting if those events don't happen. Those funds should still be there because, you know, they haven't been spent on the events that were going on out of the Office of Outdoor Rec.
Chris, you have any questions?
Well, I can see your point of view, but I agree that I don't think it's really our place to put that in the budget. If that accounting is there, but that prevents us from possibly doing other things if that doesn't take place. I don't know, I think it is too soon to do a line item.
I mean, and besides that, we really need to build that relationship. I have seen you do really a lot of really wonderful and great things. On
Yes.
the other hand, as being on the tourism board, I was kind of hurt that you would come up with a slogan like Trinidad True, no matter if it was good or not, and market that under tourism without asking us if we agree with it. And so it's like, I really want to support you. I think everybody in the city is really working really hard, and you're surely one of those people that are working really hard to make it successful. But we need to build, if we just give you money and you go away, we won't build that relationship, and that's not what it's about. We're like one large family, distant, we're all trying to do the same thing. So to build that relationship, and then I think would be really is critical, I think, to us, because we want to support you.
Sure.
And we probably will support it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
We have supported many
Absolutely.
Yeah,
events,
yeah,
a lot of events.
yeah.
The one thing I feel is, whenever you ask something, we're more than happy to give it to you.
No, and I appreciate that totally.
And I think just an application at the first of the year to take care of what you need for the year is staying in line with our grant funding. And for now, I think that's the way the grant funding was set up for. And I think if it does become, and you're here for 2 more years and everything is growing, I could see a thing of making it a line item. I really do.
Cool.
And I have talked to Les, and he thought it was probably a better idea that we stay with the way the grant funding is set up, and that's the way we've done for years.
Absolutely.
But we do appreciate you coming, and like I said, whenever you ask for something, we're more than happy to give it to you.
And like I said, I totally appreciate that more. This was just a streamlining process, and I totally support all the board has done to support the office and my events, but the office's events. And so, yeah, you'll see applications from me again.
Is there a board in the city for outdoor rec that you actually work with exclusively? Like, is there a?
There is the Park and Rec Advisory Board. Don sits on it. It meets once a month. They are similar to you. They're an advisory board who,
Without a budget, though.
yeah, they don't really have a tax-based budget like you guys do. But
I mean, just because, I think it's super wonderful that the city of Trinidad is so enlightened in all that they're doing that they hired an outdoor rec position like yours. And I would really love to see us all build our relationship better. And I don't know how that works unless we, know more of what you're doing, which we, all of us want to support.
Sure.
You know,
I think
so-
he's always, his door's always open, you can go
Yeah.
talk with him, that's yeah.
Cool. All right, guys, well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So to rectify that, is there anywhere is there a monthly newsletter that you put out or quarterly? I'm just trying to figure out how I can attach better to understanding all that you're doing so we can support you.
A lot can be seen from the Trinidad True Outdoors website. Everything going on is available there. I usually give my stuff to Wally that comes out in the economic development newsletter. So, because we're very closely tied as far as developing the economy and the community. I don't have, every once in a while I do my campfire stories that I send out to everybody, but it's not like an official newsletter. It's just kind of when I have stuff to do. But I can definitely do a better job of trying to get the word out. Radio,
Just so that we
stuff
can
like
support you and understand, if you take a turn somewhere, that we know where that's going, just so that we're aware, because we're tourism.
Jared,
100%.
Well, I think
how much do you ask for in those two events?
I think the last, it was 5,000 came for the,
And it should be in your packet. There's 5,000 for the Purgatory 4 promotion, advertising and deliverables, 5,000 for the Rad Dirt Fest city promotion and deliverables, 5,000 for advertising, promotion, gravel grinding guide and walking hiking guide, which is in production. Another recreation programs and assets, and then 5,000 for new events and marketing opportunities. So it was a total of 20,000.
Now, could some of that come out of advertising?
some of it
And
did.
actually, yeah, it did.
It did?
Some of it was taken out of our
So that's what we have to
advertising
keep in mind
appropriations.
when we do that is
Yes,
some of that
and your
come out.
advertising budget this year was over expended by 44,000. So
Okay,
when we readjusted the budget, we did increase that line
okay.
at the last meeting.
So just as long as we keep that in mind when we do it. Okay, Chair?
cool, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to take a vote on that, or?
No, it didn't require a vote.
Okay. New business. Funding request grant from Chamber of Commerce, Shop Local.
So just to precede you, go ahead, Clyde. Just to precede this, there is one more grant cycle for the Tourism Board. Opens November the 1st, closes the 31st. However, this campaign, I think, is starting November 14th. Correct. And so they did fill out a grant application in the event that you were going to require them to go through that process. But they are in need of funding prior to that. So I had to fill out the grant, but they are making a funding request other than the grant. So this is more of a funding request rather than a grant application. So, but the grant application is in your packet if you require that.
So first off, I'm Claudia Henning. I apologize to you for coming in so late on this. I started working on the program back in August, and being new to the chamber this summer and being new to Trinidad, I wasn't aware of procedures and all the boards that are located here in Trinidad. So I went to Marty because Marty was on my headlights in regards to a little birdie that said that back in the 2019-20, that tourism was involved with this program. There was nothing done last year, and I don't believe, yeah, that covers that. Right. So in 2019-2020, the Welcome Center was one of the designated spots where tokens were left off for the entry into a drawing that encouraged, it was the attractant for people to do the Shop Small, Shop Local program in Trinidad. And we found, Amy and I found in our storage room, a box of 2,500 tokens, really. And we weren't even aware of that until Marty said that, gee, we used to do the tokens here. So you can see that I'm coming in with a lack of former knowledge as to what happened. So the reason the grant said that there wasn't a former event is because there wasn't anything done last year, and the year before, from an accounting standpoint, all we have is the fact that the chamber acquired $1,350, I think it was, to cover the gift certificates that were given out when 4 tokens were deposited.
And will you explain that I was through SBDC?
Yes, exactly, thank you for that. And this year, there is no funding from the state. They stopped funding this year, they did some last year, but the chamber was a little bit in disarray, and a program wasn't put together at all for this. So if you had a chance to review the event proposal, I'm trying to make sure that I have all the X's in the program. It's set up to be available to all businesses, not just the chamber. So we are going to be the boots on the ground. We're not looking to make money from this event. This is a community effort by the chamber. The idea behind the program is that any business can register based upon this flyer that went out at our business luncheon meeting and is now been posted on Facebook and will be and emailed, etc. Of which I
registered.
understand. Yes.
Yeah, because I was, sitting doing nothing. Thank you, because I was participant in the last one.
Okay.
My question is to you, and I know a couple businesses did complain, because one time I went up when I had a $100 token, and they said I couldn't get it until the end of the month. Some businesses, that was hard on them, even though we waited until the end of the month, because they said they were only going to cut checks at the end of the month, not just when anybody came up, which I understand that, because but there was some complaints. Do you remember any of that, or were you?
I was prior to Amy.
That was
That
prior.
was when Nisha was the director.
Yeah, so, and that was a little hard on some of the businesses, because I know I went up with $100 and they turned me flat down and said, you have to wait until the end of the month.
Yeah.
And that was
So,
a
and I
board-
understand, because they would have had written out 1 million checks for that. I
Well, yeah,
couldn't
and it's a board procedure. They
Yeah,
only meet
I
7
understand
times a
that.
month, just like we do.
and that was
And that's-
just a few complaints. I just wanted to say, I walked away and I said, fine, it was almost
But-
at the end of the month anyway, so.
But then you think about a small business, when they have $300 or $400 involved in that, and they need that cash flow.
Well,
you
this
know,
year it's gonna be run differently
It's
though.
good, thank you. I was waiting for all your
Okay.
comments.
Okay.
In the event proposal, it does discuss the tokens and what they're being used for. First off, the token value would be for a $25 transaction by the merchants. This would give them a token along with the receipt. They take it to fill out an entry form. This entry form is for giveaways. And the giveaways are going to be available to the public by way of a QR code and in a printed document. The reason why I'm using QR codes a lot in this campaign is the paperwork. A lot of paper going out to all the merchants. It takes the responsibility off the merchants to be able to say, well, I know what's in the giveaways. So what are these giveaways? Well, we have commitments of $1,000 from the Main Street Historic Board. A Wildwood Hotel and Casino, 1 night for 2 people and dinner and $50 and whatever. Phil Long has come up with a $300 detailing. So a long story
And
short
chiropractic.
is that we're going to have, yes, that one too, but we're going to have a minimum of $100 as what is being offered by the businesses as a giveaway. So what does this do? This gives promotion to those that want to have a giveaway, and that promotion will last all the way from the start of the program to the end of the program. So it's a lot of subliminal free advertising for those individuals who want to participate. It also reduces the amount of paperwork, and it takes the pressure off the merchants because they're not the ones that are distributing the giveaways. The giveaways will be distributed after the end point of Christmas Eve, December 24th. And it'll be done that week before the end of the year that the drawings are going to all take place. We have the designation center at the Welcome Center. We'll also have it at the chamber office if we need to man that on a regular basis. Yes, that was great. We will do that, and we can, my plan is if we have that, instead of having the steps going up to the office, we'll see about setting up something downstairs in the lobby. Okay,
Great.
so that's the way the program will work. It's not gonna be you get 4 tokens, you get your money.
Okay.
It's going to be for giveaways. And the giveaways are going to be large enough where it should have interest. They're doing one up in Walsenburg called a Kringle, and theirs is a $500. That's it. Just $500 cash. That's a big deal. But we've been offered $1,000 on that. And that's very, very exciting. So we're going to make a big deal about the giveaways too. We're going to have pictures. I'm going to see if we can get the mayor there. I mean, we're going to make it a big deal when we call out their names. Not that they have to be present.
Are there any other advertising components to this, to the community? Or, you know, I don't know, decorating Main Street? I mean, if you're working with Main Street, things like that, I mean, shop local,
Yep.
especially, you know.
No, I'm glad you asked. The Main Street has already talked to their banner man, and they're going to be putting their banners up and down. I don't know how many or what, that's theirs. We are going to be advertising, and that's what I'm asking for the funds for, in the Chronicle, in the World Journal, and on 2 radio stations to have spots.
Can we offer her some of our KCRT spots?
Well, we did, I was gonna bring that up. Last year, we recognized the importance of shop local, and nothing was really happening because of the disarray, and we did a radio promotion.
Okay.
Increased the budget at KCRT and then made the ads. That was the
So we
12 days
can,
of Christmas thing.
we can do something for them in that sense, and that.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be great.
So,
I just need the information, and we have an ad already running, basically talking about tourism and it also aimed at locals, but it's time to get some new copy in.
so you can designate the month of November. I think there's, how many spots are in November? Quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few, because
80 or so.
it increases
State guide.
in the
Yeah.
spring and then in November because of,
I would like to start awareness of this program on the week of the 14th. That's a week prior to Thanksgiving. Is when people are starting to get festive. And it coincides with the world's shopping on that Friday and following Saturday. As you're aware of this, American Express has a program. We looked into it. There's a lot of merchants in town that do use American Express. However, we wanted to be more universal
We'll
and not
still do
limited
that
to
like
that.
with Main Street. They want us to do the American Express
Shop
Saturday.
small.
The shop small.
Well, we
Saturday.
can incorporate it, but
Right.
there's not, you can see the dots on a map as to who takes American Express, versus how many businesses we actually have on just commercial on Main Street. And I don't want to limit it to just that. I want to be able to spread it out and have it as many places as we can, going to Stonewall and going up as far as Aguilar. Aguilar's on my map too. I'm trying to get an appointment with Mr. Gary to include him in on this program. So we're really trying to reach out and be inclusive, not exclusive.
Not to get off the subject, but how many chamber members does the chamber have?
That's a good question. I believe that we're at 122. We are very low. In my expectations, I'm in charge. I'm the ambassador chair also. And we have over 800 businesses roughly.
That's what you figure, 800 businesses?
Yes, and that comes off of the internet.
Mhm.
And we need 300 at least to cover our operating expenses. I'm not talking about putting on any events, it's just operating expenses. You know, rent, light, computers, etc. So we are way low. So I'm hoping, from our perspective, that we get more attention and therefore we'll get more membership off of this versus getting cash. I'm not looking for that at all.
And how do you do a chamber member drive? Do you do it
Good question. I came on board in the summer. I believe there was one, Amy, in the spring. I don't know exactly what happened, but we plan on having one in February. And I have prior Chamber of Commerce experience. I was vice president of the Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce, which is up north. And we have had membership drives up there, so I know what it takes to have one, and with them, we are going to have one in February.
Thank you.
Okay.
That, by having so many members, that makes you a little more stronger.
Correct. And the numbers have really fallen off, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of reasons, but we're in this new reality now, and we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna be showing that the Chamber of Commerce is a valued partner to businesses here in the Trinidad and Los Angeles counties.
Any more questions from
Well,
anybody?
just that the ask is that $3,410 to advertise the shop local
It is,
campaign.
it is my understanding that you need to have a 50-mile radius on any grants that you have. These advertising individuals or companies do have that. We are asking for Main Street to help pick us up other costs.
I think the shop local is really important to
Yeah.
our community. I mean, it's essential. I mean, I know of one business in particular, their busiest day that last year, of course, was Black Friday, and then the RAD was their second busiest day. And so I think that Christmas push is so important. And just to reiterate how much that money stays in our community. I think a lot of people don't understand when they spend money at Walmart, it doesn't stay in the community the same way as if they spend money at Curly's or somewhere
Well,
else.
and the residual effect, with that is when visitors do hear that they're pushing shop local, well, they're getting their locals, there ought to be something for us. So, I mean, it's kind of a subliminal thing, but it is there, so.
Yeah, I think, business, but especially at this time of year, because I ran a retail business, you get tired. And this might give a little synergy to them to bust out the end of the year. And a lot of the businesses, this is when they make the most money too. So any help towards that end, it's beneficial.
Well, and I think I don't know if we have time now, but I do think something that would make sense for the tourism board is to sort of take on or be involved with some kind of small town holidays campaign to really promote ourselves outside of our community, because it's nice to go visit cute little towns, but you also need your town to participate,
Yeah.
right? You need them
Well,
to put up trees
I
and
do
decorate.
think all our
things like that.
merchants need to participate, and that's the strongest part. The last few years, we haven't. I think there's many that don't, and it's very hard to get them to
A
participate.
lot of folks
Yeah.
are not
And I'm at a
happy.
different corner now, and my one corner that I used to be at, we were strong on decorating and we were strong on that, but it's sometimes
No,
hard.
that's really such a good question. We've supported the downtown merchants for years for, making their window look pretty and stuff. Are we gonna do any of that, or is the chamber gonna do any contests for that?
That's a tough one, and I'm not in favor of contests at all, so,
We're working with Main Street also. We're gonna talk about it more at their meeting next week, about doing more decoration for downtown. We're checking on a few things.
And holidays.
I know one year there's been a few ways that this has been done, but it was a cool idea when everybody put wreaths up and it was the same
we
wreath
did, we
around
used
the
to
whole
get one
town.
wreath and put it on all the
That's one
windows.
thing we're checking.
But
on.
I'm not for contests, you guys, because I think everybody should decorate. And there's some small businesses that don't have that kind of money to throw in that big, and there's some that, and I just don't believe in contests. I think everybody should participate the best they can to decorate their businesses, and I don't think we should give money out because they did the best. That's a discouragement. And over the last couple years, people backed off, not even entering the contest because of that. And I just think everybody should push forward. And if they're gonna give money out for contests, for goodness sakes, promote a little bit more money in those decorations rather than giving the money out.
That's a Main Street project.
Yeah, and I just put that money that you're gonna give to these people into decorations downtown, on Main and Commercial, at the birdcage, I can't even think of Miners Memorial, so that's where I think I would like to see the money go.
One of the things that I'd like to see is
I'd like to see a
something,
big Christmas tree.
Go ahead, Amy.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
one of the things I'd like to see is maybe something started in July. By August, everything's in place that all the businesses are gonna do, and all of these groups that we talk about, you know, and then we can move forward with whatever we're gonna do. Like, we're talking about it in October, you know, as to what we wanna do, and then we're finding out other participants in this. But I think by July and August, everybody should know where we all sit on a program like that.
But it's so many good points here. So, yeah, so many good points.
So many
I
good
don't know
points.
how
I
to
don't
help you
really
with
ask
numbers.
them for money or
But like,
anything, let's
I
just
wouldn't
run with
mind
it.
funding somebody that knows how to do the snow paintings in the windows and have the whole town have little round spots in their windows with just snow around them so that we look like Americana.
Well, you know,
But,
we had
yeah.
one year that I don't know where we got, it was economic development paid for our wreaths, and we put bows on it, and that was a long time ago, wasn't that?
I was
Yeah,
actually at the
I was
chamber.
there, and we all had the
It
same
was
wreaths on the
pretty.
door. We probably all still have those same wreaths.
And there was a downtown merchants group.
We
that
did, I had
purchased
the
those.
merchants group for many years, me and
It was the
Vivica
merchants
and
group that
Trish
did
Keck, and we got it
It was pretty,
organized
Marty.
to do, I still have all the emails of people. We got it, and we went to economic development, and we got money for the wreaths, and we went up and purchased them, put red bows on them, and we all hung them on our doors. And it was nice to see them, we did that for years, and, yeah,
I'm coming in this New
Yeah.
Year's, so to speak.
that was a long time ago. Very much a long time
There
ago.
isn't any economic development or merchants association currently, from what I understand.
Not really. They try to do First Friday, and it just, it's just not. We used to have, no, I could say no, there wasn't, because when we had it, we had a meeting once a month at different people's locations, at different people's stores. We did have a meeting once a month, we didn't have no funds, but we talked about what we wanted to do, and then all of a sudden, we had economic development, the guy comes in and says, I'll get you funding for the wreaths, and we ran with that. And we had
It was
posters.
Steve Jacobson, do you remember Steve
Michael
Jacobson?
Aragon.
And Michael was his assistant.
Yeah.
Steve Jacobson
Yes, and so,
was and the
Steve
chamber worked real
Jacobson.
close with
real
it.
close with us, and we got those wreaths done, and but we did have meetings once a month, and then it got to a point where the merchants quit showing up, and it was just me and Vivica and Trish.
Well,
And
I
so
have
we-
reached out to economic development because I wanted to get them at least to be aware of the program.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I have never gotten a return phone call. So, it works two ways.
It
yeah,
does.
it does,
And I only have so many hours, and I am just a volunteer,
Yeah.
not getting paid.
right.
No,
So,
Well, thank you for.
I
your
think,
service.
I think we just need to get the merchants and let the merchants this year know that we are trying to.
That we're
it is
alive.
that we are alive.
Right.
And it is a little slow time, and we need our month of middle of November and our December to rock, where it's hard. I mean, I Space to create those shops that went in new, and me that went into a new location, I don't know how they're gonna hang on, because it is not easy right now downtown Trinidad. And so that's, and I've been gone from my shop for over a month. I'm just barely getting back into the shop. So it is rough, and I think we all should, reach out to everybody and get us going. Yeah.
I want to preface this by saying I started this IDEA program in August. It's taken me all this time in order to be able to get any momentum on it. And I apologize again for coming so late. But I haven't been able to push this thing. It's like, it's a slug.
It's
You're pushing
a
uphill.
slug with our merchants.
It's crazy. So anyway.
Thank you, Claudia.
Okay.
So my question then to the board would be, do you want to handle this as a grant application, in which case we will have to wait until applications open on November 1st? Or do you want to handle this as a funding request and then support the chamber as requested?
I say we go as a funding
I
request,
second it.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
since it's
You
need
need
a
a
motion.
motion
That's
to
it.
fund the
I'll
chamber
make the
shop
motion,
local?
she seconds.
And I second it.
For how much?
Oh,
What was the
Here's-
request for?
34.10,
$34.10.
really, she's getting to the $10.
Well,
So what if we go to 3,000?
What do we
I
go
try to
3,000?
make deals with the papers, etc. Like Chronicle gave me $100 for a quarter page because I'm a chamber. So I try to make deals.
3,000.
So you can make it for 3,000 and include the KCRT
Right.
ads that we
Right, that's what
have?
I was gonna say.
Okay, so in your motion,
Motion.
would you
Add that?
Add that.
Added
You
that.
wanna add that, Chris?
Yeah.
3,000 would
and-
go to the-
and- Yeah, and include the ads
410
that we're
for
running on
advertising.
KCR.
include or in addition to?
You mean additional monies?
No.
3,000?
Oh, and then,
$3,400,
yeah, in
or
addition to-
$3,000 in addition to the radio advertising?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I would like, yeah, it sounds, you guys are all great. It sounds great. I would like just to add that, I would really like to see a poster or something for the hotels so we can put it in our lobby so all the people coming through would be able to utilize. They're already here to get them
So
downtown.
like flyers in your packets, we'll get them all printed on the glossy,
Glossy, bright red.
Yeah.
everything, so they'll be pretty. These are just temporaries for you
Yeah,
guys
because
to
we
see.
need to add
What
the
a
QR
bullet
codes
point
to that so
email or
that they
something,
can
so I
just
can write the
take a
spot.
look at it and say,
Let's
you're
finish the
involved
motion.
in the program, go visit it.
We have enough.
Camilla's
haven't
got
voted.
copies of the
On
ads.
So we
those,
have a-
on
we have
those
a-
ads, the only thing I'd like you to do is put our
Yeah,
Trinidad
you will
tourism-
be on there. We
Okay.
didn't want to add it on there until we got approval from
Okay.
you, so you will be, your logo will be at the bottom of.
Thank you.
So we need
So
to
we have a
vote.
motion, we have a second.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can you get just a bullet point of what the promotion is
Yes.
to her, and she'll get it to me, and I'll, put together a spot and get it recorded.
He really does good. I don't know if you've heard him on the radio. He's
Yeah.
really good.
Excellent. We can do that. And Marty, will you send me the correct logo that you guys want? Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mhm. Sponsorship request, Kathy Williams Memorial Statue.
Cafe Williams.
Oh, Cafe.
Cafe
Sorry.
Williams. So, Haskell Hooks dropped this off at the Welcome Center and wanted to know, and he was asking if the tourism board could sponsor him for this charity dance at Flojo's for a memorial statue. And he asked if I would bring this to you, and so I have. There's the sponsorship levels and the donation form. I don't know if you can do this as a tourism board or if you can do this as individuals, but it is a sponsorship request.
I don't understand what it's for.
To erect a memorial statue for the first, Cafe Williams was a Buffalo soldier.
Yeah, and where
But
are they gonna put it at?
I think in the Fort Wooden area.
How close are they to getting this? Because they've been doing this for a long time, haven't they?
No idea.
No idea.
But his phone number is there if you want to give him a call.
Well,
Gotcha.
I don't know why I don't see that in my packet.
It's at the very end.
Should be the second to the last. Is it not there?
Yep, nope, I got it. Well, I think the Cafe Williams story is very cool. And,
The only thing I have to say is because they've been doing it for such a long time, I don't
Yeah.
know where they stand as far as money-wise and how close they are, or if this is just, they're,
Do you want me to put it on a work session agenda and then you can have him?
yeah, that would be fantastic and have him here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's me.
Thank you, Marty.
You're welcome.
Colorado Life Magazine 2023 renewal.
So for the last 4 years, you had advertised in Colorado Life magazine. For 4 months, we did March and April, May and June, July and August and September and October. at 1656. The amount has not changed. And each of the ads was a full page ad. You will have a professional this year doing your ads after
Maybe.
the RFP's done, so.
Anybody want to say anything on that?
When did we do it? We did it for
March and April.
March and April.
We did March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. You did 4. There's actually 6 a year.
We did 4 of them.
You did 4.
And it's-
At each, 1656 each.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's a lot of money.
Huh?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
What, do you know what the circulation is for that publication?
It's big.
That's big circulation.
I think we need to
Yeah,
stick with it.
It's a tough one. If you,
It's a tough one.
this time of year, if you're not in those magazines, it's a tough one. It's a lot of money, but it's just the way it is.
And they haven't
Well-
changed money-wise, right?
No, that's,
You're getting a full page ad versus,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Bronco
full
ad.
page
You
Look
did
at
it.
that Bronco.
Yeah,
ad.
You had a half page for,
And I mean.
Was it
so
7,000?
Yeah.
Is this for the winter issue or the spring issue, Marty?
this is for all,
this would be throughout the year,
Oh, throughout
so
the year,
Yeah,
okay.
so you
March,
get-
April, May,
you get a
June,
big
there's
bang
4
for it.
issues and they're
Yeah, it is what
bi-monthly.
it is, we gotta do it.
We have a motion
I have a motion to continue the ad.
for those specific months, Camilla?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion?
I should know.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it. It's just where all those Colorado magazines occur when they occur in Trinidad's not in it, or just how a lot of people always point it out. And it means that the circulation's big enough that people pay attention to it, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
You might as well, go ahead, we always need one.
Yeah, I'll oppose it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's too much.
Motion carries with a majority.
I,
Do I need to sign that, Maureen?
Would you please?
would you please sign
And,
that?
and I guess in those ads, no matter what we do for the ad, I'd like to see the word Trinidad bigger. Because sometimes as you go through all the ads, there's so many beautiful ads in that with all the beautiful stuff in Trinidad, but just to get the word Trinidad out there because it means,
When you
And
when you have to search for Trinidad in your ad, then you know you got a problem there.
yeah,
You say,
right.
oh, there it says.
Marty, can you answer a question for me, and I should have asked when the ladies were here. What is the chamber's dues?
26th.
And do they have a different scale
I
for
was going
different
back from the
people?
31st.
They do,
which is
so there's
Monday.
usually a corporate level, so the, like, Evergreen Resources, that's a higher level. And it goes all the way down to individuals, so you have businesses and they base it on the number of employees. So if you have a small number of employees, it's less, if you have more employees, it's higher.
I
Then
didn't
you
know
have,
that. And I'm gonna be very honest with you, and I know
Ranches
we're on, I've never been approached by chamber to join chamber, and I haven't joined chamber in years, because I've never been approached by them. You know, that's something
Tom
that,
has a question, it's like, when was your
that
last
is,
membership
I guess I
campaign?
should have asked him, because that's been
I mean,
for
if we
years.
have 800 residents,
No,
Businesses.
businesses.
I mean businesses.
and only
I'm
one.
sorry, you need to get out there.
Now I'm getting another phone
Yeah.
call from
Yeah.
Corrine.
Yeah, membership
what
drive.
happened? Maybe
The last thing that I have, if nobody else has anything, a budget recap. Your original budget was $358,000 at the beginning of the year. Your current activity was $286,214. You have overspent advertising and publications by $44,000.
We're in a spending year, we saved for so long.
Okay,
They can't
so
be-
we have no, how much more money do we have for this cycle?
No, see, I think we had 13,000, we now gave 8,000 out, or,
You have a local festival funding, you have a balance of $12,000, so.
So
it
there's probably
covers-
nothing else going on this year,
It
though.
covers all of your, covers the chamber and the Calexico and
And
the
skate
skate
yeah, and I just want to reiterate, it's not because I didn't think it was good or anything. I applied for 3 grants this year, and I had moved twice. I got the senior program going for the farmers market, I got the SNAP program going for the farmers market, and I came here, and we're all busy. I'm sorry, but, you know, it needs to be known. That's, okay, I've said it out loud.
Yep. You grow people.
Grow, we grow.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then-
nice
was
seeing
there
everybody.
anything else?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
no, I just wanted to.
I like
ask
to
a-
adjourn.
No, I'd like to ask a couple
Oh,
of
okay,
questions.
go on, I'm sorry.
A
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of questions, sorry. One of the questions is, have we had any update on the Welcome Center or the multimodal? Any movement, anything? Okay.
I did report to, at the department heads meeting with the city manager,
Mhm.
that the Welcome Center needs, or that the city needs to submit a letter of request for funding for the Welcome Center going forward in the amount of $80,000.
Okay.
So the Welcome Center can be refunded now that the
Wonderful.
state tourism budget has money in it. So,
Wonderful.
but the city needs to make a formal request. So that's been given to the city manager and to city clerk, and that's moving forward. As far as the relocation of the Welcome Center, the property owners at exit 14 have been approached to sell the property. And I think that's where it stands. That I don't think they've had, and I think there's some conversations with CDOT that need to take place, because there is a CDOT right away there and some other,
Mhm.
but I don't see a relocation of the Welcome Center taking place for at least another 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
I
And
mean,
then my second
that's
question
pushing too.
is.
Physically
My
moving
second
in,
question
yeah.
is, I guess I should have asked Jared, and I know that we have a way to go to Santa Fe Trail right now, go to Fisher's Peak using Santa Fe Trail, although it's not scenic nor safe. But has there been any talk that you're aware of that the trail could start downtown Trinidad and just connect with Santa Fe Trail?
I've not heard that, but I did hear that the Governor Polis will be here tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
and that he is in town to open, or to announce the opening of 11-mile trail, and it's a mountain biking trail.
Which is fabulous. I was gonna ask you what time that was. I saw that.
I believe it's
notice.
maybe 1:30.
Up there?
Okay, 1:30.
Jared sent an invitation, did you
Yeah,
get
but
it?
it didn't say a time on it.
There,
It just said it was happening, but didn't say
there
a
was
time.
discussion a year, maybe further back, about a downtown
Uh-huh.
starting point to get to Fisher's Peak.
Yeah, right. And so
And-
that's what
Well,
I'm just
that's-
bringing that up so we all.
Whatever happened, but I never
So
heard.
master plan is online, you can check that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I just was looking at ways that we can market from a business point of view
Yeah,
currently.
I,
And so, and then I have one more question. Sunflower City. So have we heard any movement on that? The mayor said he was gonna approach city council about it.
there's
So-
so many things we can promote with sunflowers.
I know, so I'm just putting that on the plate, putting it on the record that I'm asking, so that we can move forward, that I'm asking, what, be the Sunflower City. Because there's sunflowers all the way through everything, everybody grows wild sunflowers in so many yards. We can pass out sunflower seeds and let everybody even do more, and then we can have sunflower days in Trinidad. So I'm just putting it on the
Sunflowers,
table.
that reminds me of something.
There's not a doggone place on Commercial Street to put sunflowers.
No, you can put them in, everybody could have like a little pot.
They don't have to be alive either.
Yeah.
They're
Rural
nice
philanthropy
bicycles.
Yeah,
Rural Philanthropy Days adopted the sunflower in 2014 when we hosted the event here in Trinidad, which reminds me that Rural Philanthropy Days is taking place in our region, our southeastern region, in 2023. And Lahana, Otero County are the successful bidders for that, so it will be held in Lahana this year.
You have the right bag for that too. So.
so anyway, yeah, no, just, I mean, you know, as someone who runs a hotel and people come and look at property all the time, you hear people going, yeah, we're going up that county road, there's sunflowers everywhere, and there are. So it's just one other ways that we can market.
So I did
Okay, I
want
really
to-
gotta run through it.
On that point of RPD,
Uh-huh.
that's a regional effort. It's not just because it's in Lahana, they handle all the work.
Right.
It's a regional collaboration, so they will be asking for help from the, it's not expected, but It would be nice if the tourism board was involved in the rural philanthropy days.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we had signage and stuff and a
Yeah.
table with stuff.
One last thing, going back to the visitor center. At the, what was the meeting I was at the other day?
Scenic Highway of Legends.
Yeah, there was a gentleman there from the university that has, he says, in hand, the funding and stuff to build a museum. And, you know, obviously talk about discussion. I suggested that he talk to the mayor, because it's gonna take about the same amount of time as the visitor center, about incorporating that maybe in, you know, making
Calvin.
it two-story.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said Calvin.
Calvin,
His name is
yeah,
Calvin.
and making it part of the visitor center, that museum, because he's got some funding and maybe they can cross-fund it. So just, that discussion was brought up. I don't know if he talked to the mayor about it or not, but,
Okay,
Okay, I could need
That's
the work.
great.
Motion to adjourn.
I adjourn this meeting at 10:12.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,